Linda Gardner woke up before the sun. She usually got up early to make breakfast for her son, but today her body felt too heavy to move. Her head hurt badly, and her throat was dry and sore. Still, she forced herself out of bed and walked slowly to her son's room. "Noah, it's time to get up," she said gently. Her 12-year-old son opened his eyes. His black hair was messy, and his warm brown eyes looked up at her with concern. "Good morning, Mom," he said with a smile. "Are you okay? You look sick." Linda tried to smile back. "I'm just a little tired, sweetheart, let's get ready for school." She helped Noah into his wheelchair. 3 years ago, they had been in a car accident that changed their lives forever. Noah had lost the ability to walk, and since then, Linda had done everything she could to take care of him. She worked long shifts as a nurse at the local hospital and never complained, not even when she was exhausted. At breakfast, Noah looked at her again and said, "Mom, I think you have a fever." Linda touched her forehead. The pain in her head was getting worse. "I'm okay," she said softly. "I only have a short shift at the hospital today. I'll rest when I get back." After dropping Noah off at school, Linda's phone rang. It was her mother. She sighed before answering. "Good morning, Mom." "Linda," her mother said sharply, "Vanessa's dress fitting was moved to next Wednesday. You need to be there." "I work on Wednesdays," Linda replied, "and Vanessa doesn't want me there." Always with the excuses, her mother snapped. "We're family, and this is important to Vanessa." Linda shut her eyes for a moment. Her head was pounding. "I know, but I really can't get the day off." After the call, she felt like crying. Her parents always treated her like a failure. They never respected her or understood her struggles. Vanessa, her younger sister, was their pride, beautiful, wealthy, and about to marry a man who owned a fancy store. Linda, on the other hand, was a single mom with a disabled child. To them, she was an embarrassment. When she arrived at the hospital, Linda looked pale and weak. Her coworker Sarah noticed right away. "Linda, you look terrible. Are you feeling okay?" "I think I'm just a bit sick," Linda tried to say, but suddenly the world started spinning. She almost fell over, and Sarah caught her. "I'm getting the doctor," Sarah said and rushed off. Edward examined Linda in a quiet room. "You have a high fever," he told her. "It's likely the flu. You need to stay in bed for at least 3 days." "But what about Noah?" Linda asked, panicked. "Linda," he said gently but firmly, "you always take care of others, but now you need to take care of yourself. If you push too hard, you'll only get worse." Linda nodded slowly. "But I don't know who will take care of Noah." "Don't you have family?" he asked. Linda gave a tired smile. She had family, but they didn't care. The only person she trusted was Judith, the kind woman who owned Willow Creek Manor. Judith had helped her in the past, but Linda's parents didn't know that. They only cared that Linda had helped Vanessa get a discount for her wedding. "I do," Linda said quietly, "but asking them, it's complicated." Sarah gave her a gentle look. "Even difficult families can surprise you when you're in need. Try calling them." On the way home to her small apartment on Tremble Street, Linda called Noah's school to have him picked up early. Then she slowly dialed her parents' number with shaking fingers. She already expected their cold replies and Vanessa's nasty words, but she had no choice. She whispered a small prayer before the call connected. "Just this once, please help." Her mother answered with an annoyed tone. "Linda, I'm busy, what is it?" Linda held the phone tightly and said with effort, "I'm really sick. The doctor says I need complete bed rest. Can you please take care of Noah for a few days?" There was silence. Then her mother sighed loudly. "This is a bad time. We have Vanessa's wedding fitting, the invitations, the flower meeting, everything is happening this week." "I know," Linda said weakly, "but I really need help. I'm too sick to care for him alone." Her mother's voice turned sharp. "You always bring problems. Vanessa's wedding is more important than your issues." Tears filled Linda's eyes. She could barely stand. Her body was on fire with fever, but her mother didn't care at all. "Please," she whispered, "I have no one else to ask." "You're always like this," her mother snapped, trying to steal attention. "Can't you handle your own life?" Just then, another voice spoke up. "Let me talk to her." It was Vanessa. Vanessa's voice came on, cold and mean. "Are you seriously doing this now? My wedding is coming up. Don't drag Mom and Dad into your problems." "I didn't choose to get sick, Vanessa," Linda said through her tears. This is what happens when you have a useless kid, Vanessa said sharply. You made your choices, deal with them. Linda froze. Vanessa had just called Noah, her sweet, brave boy, useless. Noah is not useless, Linda snapped, her voice rising for the first time. He's my son, don't you ever talk about him like that. Vanessa didn't back down. Well, your mess is not our problem anymore, figure it out. Then Linda heard her father in the background. Enough, hang up the phone. Vanessa's voice turned cold. Dad says to end the call. Goodbye, Linda. And just like that, the line went dead. Linda stayed frozen for a moment, then she dropped the phone and sank onto her bed, shaking with fever and heartbreak. Tears streamed down her face. The rejection hurt more than the sickness, but what hurt most of all was hearing her own family call her child worthless. Then came the sound of the doorbell. Linda struggled to get up, thinking, maybe, just maybe, they had come after all. She opened the door and saw Sarah standing there, looking worried. Linda, you shouldn't be up. Sarah stepped forward and helped her. Linda leaned against her. Noah, he's coming home soon. That's why I'm here, Sarah said gently. Edward told me everything. I've already called the school and picked Noah up. He's safe, you need to lie down. Sarah helped her back to bed, placing a cool cloth on her forehead. Linda cried again and told her about the cruel phone call. They're my family, why won't they help me? Sarah held her hand. You do have family, me, and Noah, that's all you need right now. But you have your own family. Friends are family too, Sarah said with a smile. My husband understands. Our kids like Noah. Don't worry, we'll take care of you both for a few days. Linda felt a deep sense of relief. Her heart still hurt, but Sarah's kindness was like a warm blanket in a cold storm. Sarah, Linda whispered. Shoo, don't talk, take your medicine and sleep. After taking the pills, Linda remembered something. Could you get my phone? Sarah handed it to her. Linda looked at the name on the screen, Judith, Willow Creek. With quiet strength, she sent a short message. Judith, we need to talk about my sister's wedding reservation. Then she put the phone aside and closed her eyes. Her body fell into a deep sleep. Her cheeks were still wet with tears, but there was something new on her face, a calm, firm look of resolve. Linda had finally made a decision. She would stop chasing love from people who didn't see her worth. She would protect Noah. And she would define family on her own terms, from now on. When I collapsed with a high fever and asked for help watching Noah, you all just looked at each other, like you were hoping someone else would step in. No one moved. No one said anything right away. What did you say back then, when I asked for help? Linda's voice was calm, but full of pain. Diane looked down, shame covering her face. We were busy, she mumbled. Linda turned to her sister. Busy with Vanessa's wedding dress, right? You said I was interfering and should handle it myself. Vanessa stayed quiet. She didn't meet Linda's eyes. Linda didn't let her silence pass. And you, Vanessa, do you remember what you said about Noah? Still, Vanessa didn't answer. Linda's voice became sharp. You called him worthless, your own nephew. At that, Vanessa lifted her head slightly and whispered, Noah is everything to me. Linda cut her off quickly. Don't lie, I don't owe anything to people who hurt my son. Diane suddenly broke down in tears. Linda, please, we were wrong, all of us, we acted horribly, but please, forgive us. Linda looked at her mother coldly. Forgive you, so you can do it again next time, hurt me and Noah again when it's inconvenient? Robert, usually quiet and stubborn, finally spoke. His voice was softer than Linda had ever heard it. We won't, I swear, we were wrong, especially me. Linda turned to her father. For the first time in many years, she saw something real in his eyes, guilt and shame. It made her pause. Then Diane asked, Where's Noah? I want to see him. I want to apologize, to his face. Linda raised an eyebrow. Why now? I need him to hear it from me, Diane said firmly. He deserves that. Before Linda could reply, a voice came from behind them. Mom? Noah had rolled into the room in his wheelchair. He'd been listening from the hallway. Noah, Diane gasped, stepping toward him, but when she saw the way Linda looked at her, she stopped. Grandma, why are you crying? Noah asked, tilting his head. The room went quiet. Linda took a deep breath. Her heart was heavy with everything she'd gone through. The anger, the hurt, But also, a small part of her still hoped for peace, for Noah's sake. I might forgive you, she said slowly, but only if you agree to a few things. All three of them looked at her, surprised. Hope flickered in their eyes. Anything, Vanessa said quickly, just tell us what you want. Linda stood and walked toward the window. The sky outside was turning dark, city lights flickering on one by one. She turned back to them, now in full control. First, she said, you apologize to Noah. They all nodded silently. Then, the three of you will take care of Noah every weekend, from Friday evening to Sunday evening, until the wedding, 2 months from now. Vanessa's eyes widened. What? Every weekend? That's not fair. I have wedding things to plan. I need time with Bradley. Linda's voice stayed calm. Those are my terms. You don't like them. Find a new wedding venue. Robert tried to reason with her. Can't we just do some weekends? That's a big ask. Linda snapped. Was I asking for too much when I had a fever and begged for help? You let me struggle alone. Now it's your turn to carry the weight, just on weekends. Robert lowered his eyes, ashamed. There's more, Linda continued. You'll donate 10% of the wedding budget to A Bright Future, a charity for kids with disabilities. Diane gasped. That's a lot of money, Linda. Linda looked straight at her mother. You live comfortably in retirement. Vanessa is marrying a boutique owner who sells 5-figure handbags. You can afford it. Another long silence fell in the room. No one argued this time. Vanessa finally asked in a quiet voice, is that everything? No, Linda said, turning to Noah. Noah will be in the wedding. He'll be your ring bearer. Vanessa's lips parted like she was going to say something, but she stopped herself. He's what? Linda asked, her voice sharp. Go on, say it. Vanessa shook her head. No, nothing. Of course I want him in the wedding. Really? Linda asked, her voice laced with sarcasm. You want the same child you once called worthless? Vanessa's face flushed. That was wrong. I'm sorry. She walked over to Noah and bent down so they were eye level. Noah, I said something really mean about you. I was wrong. You are not worthless. You're kind and strong and smart. I'd love for you to be my ring bearer. Would you do that for me? Noah looked confused. He glanced at his mother. Linda gave him a small, reassuring nod. Okay, Noah said softly, but, will you like me this time? Tears filled Vanessa's eyes. She nodded, her voice trembling. Yes, Noah, I just didn't take the time to really know you. I'll fix that, I promise. Diane stepped in quickly. So, do we have an agreement now? Linda, please, will you talk to Willow Creek Manor for us? Linda paused, looking over her family carefully. One last thing, she said. Everyone tensed again. You each owe us a true, honest apology, one that comes from your heart, and a promise to keep your word. Robert stood up first. He walked to Linda and Noah, then said seriously, Linda, Noah, I failed you. I wasn't there when it mattered. I didn't act like a father, or a grandfather. I'm truly sorry. Diane was crying as she spoke. Linda, I'm ashamed. I let you down. I ignored your pain. And Noah. Grandma was awful to you. I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I hope one day you'll give it. Vanessa stood last. I was selfish, blind to anything but myself, and calling Noah names. That was the worst thing I've ever done. Linda, Noah. I'm sorry. Linda studied their faces for a long time, and finally, she gave a small nod. All right, she said, if you keep every promise, I'll call Judith and get your venue back. The three let out sighs of relief. Thank you, Linda, Diane said as she stepped forward to hug her daughter. But Linda took a step back. Not yet, Mom, show me through actions, not hugs. Diane nodded. You're right. Robert asked, so, when do we start with Noah? This Friday, Linda said, 6 o'clock sharp. After they left, Linda went into Noah's room and sat on his bed. Are you okay with this, staying with them on weekends? She asked gently. Noah thought about it, a little scared, but their house is big, and I want to meet Aunt Vanessa's fiancé. Linda brushed her fingers through his hair. Call me anytime. If anything feels wrong, I'll be there in minutes. Noah smiled. I'll be okay, Mom, I'm strong. Linda pulled him close and held him tightly. Yes, you are, sweetheart, you're the strongest boy I know.